Hey guys, welcome back to another video here at LSRA10. Before we start the video, please like the video, share it with your fantasy playing friends, and subscribe to the channel. It's a growing channel and every subscribe helps. So yes, let's begin with the video. You might have seen the title of this video. And yes, I do think that I might have just found the perfect strategy for the FPL. Before we start, just once again, I would like to plug in that you can join my league. It will be in the pinned in the comment section down below. So let's get straight into it. This is my team. So to explain the team better, I will take us to Solio. I use Solio. I love it. So the biggest thing about this team is that there is no Erling Haaland, and that is the reason why you probably clicked on this video. So let's attack the main thing. What's the main thing? The main thing is that people want to bench boost early. The template is that you bench boost in game week 1 or game week 2, but you bench boost early. But what people are now saying, mainly content creators are saying that tripling up on Coventry doesn't make sense because they themselves aren't a good team, or that if you're bench boosting early, then you're sacrificing on other things and you're having to play your free hit early or your wild card early. No, with this team you don't have to do anything like that. So what we have done is we have removed Erling Haaland. Now, after removing Erling Haaland, what we have decided to attack the best attacks in terms of fixtures for the first few game weeks. Now that is Chelsea. Chelsea's two best attackers, Palmer and Joao Pedro. I have both. That is Liverpool. Liverpool's two best attackers are Isak and Wirtz. It's not Soboslai because Soboslai is going to be playing deep and he's not going to be on pens. It's just the set piece appeal and maybe a banger from outside of the box. But it's actually Wirtz, and Isak Iraola has said that he's going to play Wirtz behind the striker and give him freedom. With Manchester United, it's Bruno Fernandes, and we will come to Bruno Fernandes. He will play a big role. And with Man City, of course, apart from Haaland, the two best attackers are Semenyo and Foden. Semenyo was absolutely brilliant in the previous friendly, the first friendly under Maresca, and Foden was the captain. So these are the attackers. That leaves us with Dominic Solanke, but we will touch Dominic Solanke a little bit later. Now let's come to the defense. The defenses that I wanted to target are Arsenal, Manchester United, Spurs, Liverpool, and Man City. Now I couldn't target Man City defense because it will affect my strategy going ahead. So we have removed Joshko Guardiola, who was originally in the team. Jeremy Jacquet is the cheapest nailed Liverpool defender. Before anybody says that he's not playing preseason, just look at Liverpool's team. They don't have any other centre back. Jeremy Jacquet will play. Luke Shaw is the cheapest Manchester United defender. Yes, Lewis Hall is being linked. So if Lewis Hall joins, then maybe we'll have to change it a little bit. For now, Luke Shaw is there. Mosquera is the cheapest Arsenal defender. No, I'm not going to pick Calafiori because they have Calafiori, Hincapi, and Miles Lewis Kelly. Whereas with Mosquera, he is going to play. He's not going to play Gabriel and Hincapi, both are centre backs, because both are left-sided, left-footed centre backs. So Mosquera is going to play. There's no competition until Saliba comes in. And Kinski is the cheapest Spurs defender. So I've picked him. And because the best Spurs defender, Pedro Porro, we don't know if he's going to start or not. Now, the reason why we have gone for Maguire is because if you look at it, Manchester United actually have the best defensive fixtures for the first few game weeks, especially in game week 2, where we are going to be bench boosting. That's why I've gone for Harry Maguire, Man United's second best defender, especially considering that we don't know who's going to partner him for sure, and we don't know who's going to be the right back for sure as well. It could be Lenny Oro as well because he's been playing well. So except Maguire and Seni Lamo, we don't know anybody else. So we have picked Maguire. Now, the reason why we have gone for bench boost game week 2 is because Thomas and Petrovic, they facilitated bench boost game week 2. If you look at it, if you want to bench boost game week 1, there actually aren't as many good fixtures for your second goalkeeper and for your fifth defender. You are going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to pick an Ipswich and a Sunderland defender and goalkeeper, and both of them are in the same fixture. So you're going to hope for it to finish 0-0, which is very tough. Whereas in game week 2, Thomas has a good fixture, Petrovic has a good fixture, so that makes sense. That's why I've decided to target game week 2. And that is why we have picked Dominic Solanke, because amongst these 6 million forwards, Dominic Solanke has the best fixture in game week 2. And it's very flexible as well, because if Dominic Solanke, till the time the deadline comes closer, we are not sure about him, we can just switch to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because he also has a good fixture and he's also nailed. So that's done. Now, why am I not scared? Because for the first 2 game weeks, where we are not going to have Erling Haaland, yes, we will get Erling Haaland in game week 3 without playing any chip. I'll explain that later. But for the first 2 game weeks where we are not going to have Erling Haaland, we need somebody to do as good as Erling Haaland, or maybe even a little bit poorer is fine, because we are going to be playing a very strong bench boost, which I'll show in game week 2. And Bruno Fernandes is that. He probably has the 2 best fixtures in the first 2 game weeks, and he's a midfielder. So would it be an unreasonable expectation to expect that Bruno could match or come close to Erling Haaland in the first two game weeks, Bruno captain? No, absolutely not. And what not no Erling Haaland does is that we have such a stacked squad. And now if we go ahead to game week 2, you can see this bench boost. This bench boost is projected to score upwards of 13, 14 points, which is very good, especially considering the fact that the players on the bench, Thomas against Hull at home, Kinski against Newcastle at home, Jeremy Jacque against Nottingham Forest at home, and Phil Foden against Crystal Palace, a Glasner-less Crystal Palace, remember that. And once again, we will roll the transfer. So we have two free transfers and one free transfer, and we are bench boosting. Now, what do we do in game week 3? In game week 3, Bruno Fernandes and Alexander Isak, the two main players, come into the use. The reason why we picked Alexander Isak is not because he is Liverpool's best attacker or maybe tied best attacker, but also because he facilitates us to get Erling Haaland in just two moves. What we have done is we have removed Bruno Fernandes and Alexander Isak, brought in Erling Haaland, and that left us with 5.5 million. And we have brought in Pascal Gross, but once again, it doesn't have to be Pascal Gross, because if you say that, oh, price changes and this, that, and the other, yes, we could go and literally pick a 4.5 million dead midfielder. Why? Because look at a bench. João Pedro is not in the team. Luke Shaw is not in the team. Thomas is not in the team. So we do not need to pick Pascal Gross or a quality 5.5 million starting midfielder. We can just pick a 4.5 million dead midfielder because we still have three quality players on the bench. And another thing, before anybody says that, oh, you are booking in two free transfers, what if an injury happens or what if a suspension happens? Just look at the team. You have 13 playing outfield players who you could start in any game week. You need to field just 10. That gives you a leeway of 3. Now, if you're telling me that in the first two game weeks, 3 of your players, or maybe 4, because even if it happens to 3, you still have 10 outfielders and 1 goalkeeper. So 4, if you're telling me that in the first two game weeks, 4 of your players get injured or suspended, then frankly speaking, you just have terrible luck and you should stop playing FPL and just wildcard. But that's not going to happen. So, even if instead of Pascal Gross here, we put a 4.5 million dead midfielder and put João Pedro in place of him, let's say Luke Shaw is also injured, Thomas is also injured, we will still have a quality 10-man outfield. So we can afford 2 injuries or suspensions, and we can afford to bring in a dead player in place of Bruno Fernandes to facilitate an Haaland move, and we will still have 10 quality outfield players no matter how you put it. You put Luke Shaw instead of João Pedro, you put Thomas instead of Luke Shaw, does not matter. You will still have quality players. Look at the mean score projected. The mean score is 64 points. You have a 60+% chance to get 60+ points. So you are still very well off. Now, when you come to game week 4 and game week 5, you can just, play a normal team, roll your transfers. And after game week 5, you play wildcard in game week 6 because it is the largest international break ever. It's almost 3 weeks. And another important thing is that almost all of the coaches, managers are new. So after the first 5 game weeks, we'll have a very good idea which teams to target, which attackers, which defenders, who are getting DEFCON, who are getting involved in attacks. And we can play that after game week 5, having rolled 2 free transfers. So you're wildcarding in the big international break with 2 free transfers in the bank. You are not scared of Erling Haaland because you have Bruno Fernandes captain for the first 2 game weeks, and for Erling Haaland's best fixture in game week 3, you have him without having to take a hit, without being forced to play a free hit, without being forced to play a wildcard. You can play a free hit or a wildcard whenever you want. And as you can see, I am playing triple captain on Erling Haaland, because once again I can play that because I have Erling Haaland in game week 3, and my strategy is very clear. I always like to use my first triple captaincy chip on Erling Haaland before the UCL starts in his best fixture. I did that last season as well. Before the UCL started, I triple captain him in his best fixture, and he returned, if I'm not wrong, 17 points. Coventry City at home in game week 3 is his best fixture before UCL starts. I'm going to bring Erling Haaland in without a hit for free transfers, and I'm going to triple captain him. So I'm not scared of Erling Haaland in the first 2 game weeks because I have Bruno Fernandes. I'm going to have a quality world-class bench boost, better than almost everybody else. I'm not going to take a hit, and I'm going to get an Erling Haaland to triple captain him. I'm not going to be forced to play a free hit. I'm not going to be forced to play a wildcard. Free hit, look at this. If you look at it in game week 3, yeah, that's the game week where Arsenal and Chelsea play each other, and that's the toughest fixture. You can literally bench both Palmer and João Pedro if you want to. Why not? You can play Gross instead of Palmer, and you can play Luke Shaw instead of Mosquera. You can have your 3 Chelsea and Arsenal picks all on the bench if you're just unsure where that match is going to go, and you still have a quality team. Look at that mean projected points of 64 points, a 60+% chance to get 60+ points. So you can just bench Palmer, João Pedro, and Mosquera in game week 3 for that Arsenal versus Chelsea match, and you still have a quality team. Exactly what I'm saying. So it's a frankly broken and ridiculous strategy. I don't see any issues or loopholes in that. The only issue that this team could have is, let's say, Foden or Semenyo are not nailed, because that's the only issue. I think Isaac will start, Words will start, Bruno will start, Palma will start, Joao Pedro will start. Solanke, even if Solanke is an issue, we can bring in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so there's no issue about that. It's only if Foden or Semenyo are doubts. Mosquera will be there, Kinski will be there, Petrovic will be there, Thomas will be there, Xhaka will have to be there even if Liverpool don't want it, because they don't have anybody and they are not linked to any defender in the transfer window. They're totally focused on Bradley Barcola and Ryan. And when it comes to the defense, Maguire is going to be there. Luke Shaw is the only doubt. If they sign Lewis Hall, then we'll figure out something else. So literally, it's one of Phil Foden or Semenyo and Luke Shaw the only doubts as of now. So there are no big loopholes, and we can address those before the game week starts. So frankly speaking, I just think that this is a very good, a very broken strategy. I most probably am going to implement that. If you can look at it, we are projected to score upwards of 310 points after the first 5 game weeks, which is which would put us like in the top 10k after the first 5 game weeks, which is frankly ridiculous. So I see no issues with this draft. Just a little bit about me. I finished top 8k in the world last season FPL. So yeah, this is the video. Please join my league. It will be pinned in the comment section down below. Please like the video, share it with your fantasy playing friends, and subscribe to the channel. It is a growing channel. Every subscribe helps. And comment in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on this strategy. If you have any doubts relating to this strategy, or if you have any doubts or questions relating to your own team, I will reply to each and every comment. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another future video. Bye bye.